What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in. Today, I just wanted to talk about how did I get started in photography and videography. It's a cute story for some. They'll be like, oh, that's adorable, right? I originally started with my kids, right? They were like, Daddy, can you take a picture? Can you take a picture? And I would always keep pulling out my phone. And at that time, I did not like photos. Unless I was around the fellas or for work and stuff like that, I didn't touch my phone. But they kept asking me, take a photo. So I started taking their photos, and we were in the mall and they'll see like a carousel. So eventually I said, you know what, let me just go out and buy a camera. So I did some research. I had one of my sergeants when I was in the Army before I retired. Shout out to Sergeant Hunter. I don't know if he ever stayed in, if he got promoted, but Sergeant Hunter, he was a phenomenal teacher when I first started. And he said, oh, why don't you look into getting a Sony? Because he shot Sony. So I looked at Sony, I looked at Nikon. So I went to the exchange, purchased the Nikon. I don't remember which one exactly, but it was the equivalent to the Rebel T7i from Canon. So I bought the Nikon, and I also bought the Sony A6000 series. I'm not sure which one it was, 6100, 6200. It was around 2018. So I purchased those two. When I got them in the mail, instantly, I was happy with the Sony. Just the pure way it looked. It was sleek, it was light. I can put interchangeable lenses on there if I wanted to. And the Nikon, it just looked like a tank. It looked not so appealing. So, I returned that bad boy. I definitely stuck that label back on there, put it in the box, and I returned it. And I stuck with the Sony, and I ended up buying my first lens, besides the kit lens that came with it, which was like a 24-70, I believe. I bought the 24-105 f4 G lens when it came out. I literally got it around I think the day that it was released, if I'm not mistaken. So I love that lens. Again, I didn't know anything about f-stops and all the low light and stuff. So I did, my very first shoot was for two of my soldiers. They got married. Well, not my soldiers, but they were in my unit. And they got married and asked me to do their engagement. It was really nice. It was at a restaurant. I did the video recording, and she had the iPad, and I did their shoot. Friends, family were there. And I will say personally how I feel now. I didn't know a lot. I did terrible. I knew nothing about low light. I knew nothing about having a flash, because it was like 6-7 o'clock at night by that time we went outside. So it was only the natural, light that was left from the sun going down. Did terrible. Let's put it that way. I recovered some of those images recently with the noise reduction that there is in Lightroom. But ultimately, I got into it that way, and years went by. I kept going. I ended up buying a Canon later on, so I left Sony for this A7 III's terrible sensor. It's great for starting out. It's great for lit situations, but I ended up getting the Canon EOS R, first mirrorless Canon camera. Picked that bad boy up. I had the kit lens with that for a while, and then I ended up getting the 28-70, sorry, 28-70, 70-200, and then I had the 16-35, all L lenses. I didn't own anything else from Canon that were not L, so I can't speak on that, but L glass is chef's kiss. It's amazing. So I had that for a while, and I actually started working in Army Public Affairs, and shout out to Staff Sergeant Staff Sergeant Petratoni. Guy was good. He taught me a lot of different things that I did not know about Canon and just using TV mode in Canon cameras. They're not in Sony. Sony has it calls it something different. But that was the perfect mode when you're out there at events and shooting dignitaries and high-ranking officials, and just doing what public affairs, what we do. And it was the best experience ever. I love it. It shaped me into who I am today. And I learned the camera settings because of that. And I would recommend anyone who loves cameras, photography, journalism, public affairs, definitely the way to go. You'll travel, you'll do some cool things, right? But moving on. So I did that before I retired from the Army, and I stopped. I literally stopped doing photography. I got tired of haggling with people about, pricing and your worth and all that stuff. So I stopped for quite some time. And then literally God told me to pick it back up. And I started going to a local church, and I asked them if they needed help, and they said, sure, we'll try you out for a Sunday, see how you do. Did that for a Sunday, sent them the photos, and they were completely amazed. They were blown away. And ever since then, that was my journey into becoming a church creative. And I wouldn't go back and change that for any reason. That literally started my calling that's been brewing, and God is like, oh, you're not accepting it. I accepted the challenge. And to this point now, I started to stop photography again. So that lasted about 2 more years. And my fire, my passion for it started to die down. And to be honest, I feel like it died down because I am destined to teach, to help others, to do what I'm doing right now. As uncomfortable as it sounds, I'm naturally inclined to do it. And I would always get too far into my head and say, hey, this is that, and if you should try this, oh, that's too much, you're not ready for that. You just have to stop telling yourself that. God wouldn't give you a gift. God wouldn't put you into a situation if you weren't physically and mentally prepared for it. We develop this sense of the flesh knows everything. Flesh knows nothing. Flesh is nothing but senses that are just interacting with what's going on around you, and it can throw you off just like that. So again, this is how I started photography. This is where I am now. My passion is coming back, that fire, that flame, that burning feeling for the Lord. That's how I feel with photography, and it started to die down again, but it's back. It's alive more than ever, and I just wanted to share this to encourage you guys so you understand where I started, how it's going, and the nature of where I want my channel to go. I want it to be sincere. I want it to be genuine. And also, I want it to be known that I am Christian. I am a child of God. I love Jesus. So a lot of stuff that come my way, jobs, these opportunities to shoot different things and be in different environments, I will turn them down if they're not conducive to my image that Christ has given me, right? So, I just want to put that out there as well, because I know that there are probably some photographers and videographers that struggle with this and practicing discernment from being in certain environments and saying certain things. But this is a safe space. This is freedom for me to talk. At some point, I want to get you guys input, listen, read your comments, listen to your thoughts, and be able to speak on them from here in a natural sense. So love you guys. Talk to you guys later, and peace.